Hello, this is Studious Octopus, and I am recording the second video in the new makeup first impressions, which is to use all or most of the makeup items to do a makeup look and just sort of talk about what I thought about it. So I've just finished cutting my hair out of the way, and I've already applied the Rimmel Stay Matte Primer to my face, and I'm going to move on to the foundation. So I'm going to be using the Rimmel Lasting Finish in Nude Foundation, and I'm using this in the shade 10 Porcelain. This is the nude version is the new line. They have a Lasting Finish line, which is a more medium to full coverage foundation, which I don't actually have. I have the Rimmel Match Perfection foundation, which is another sort of medium to full one. So I'm applying it here with the new Wilkinson's premium makeup brushes. I bought a stippler brush, which was a very interesting experience because it is a lot better than other makeup applications in some ways and a lot worse in others. I quite like this motion here that you can see where I'm patting on the foundation, and you actually only pat on a very small amount because of the way the brush works. So it does actually get you a very sheer coverage and a very even distribution of only a little bit of the foundation. So it feels quite lightweight. It almost feels like you're not wearing anything at all on your face, while still giving quite a more of a colour correcting type coverage rather than a, like I've said, rather than a medium to high coverage, which would say cover more blemishes, which luckily isn't something I particularly have to worry about. As you can see here, I'm putting on a bit more on my eye, and I also do this around my nose, and this is the downside to the foundation, because while I like the light finish overall, I didn't like the finish in sort of the, I suppose, the creasy bits of your face, where your nose meets your face, where your eyes meet your face. It isn't quite as smooth or as even in those areas. But all I did afterwards, when I noticed this in the mirror, was use my Real Techniques Beauty Complexion Sponge to even out around my nose and around my eyes, which sort of got rid of that unevenness right away, even after the fact, after it had set quite a bit. So that wasn't that much of a problem. The other thing, to be honest, is that applying the foundation is a lot quicker with the Beauty Complexion Sponge, and probably a lot easier, a lot more foolproof than using sort of other methods where it relies a bit more on you getting the evenness yourself. So here I am just finishing up. So I do think overall I still prefer my complexion sponge, but I can see the stippler being really good if you do really want that sheer finish, and then sort of finishing off the finer areas with your sponge. You can see there I'm giving a bit of a strange mirror in monitor view. But this is just me finishing up, showing off the brush. And then I think, yeah, showing off the packaging. So that's the face base done. I'm just checking here on my contouring kit whether I'm supposed to powder first or not. So that was the Wilkinson's powder brush, which is my favourite of the new premium brushes. And I'm just using that with the Rimmel Stay Matte Pressed Powder in shade Transparent 001. And one of the things I really love about this big powder brush is it is actually very good at applying just a little bit of powder really evenly over your face. So you're actually getting that sort of setting and mattifying look without making it powdery. And it's a very dense, lovely brush for the money that you pay for it, so definitely my favourite. I'm just making sure it's set in sort of all the smaller bits of my face, all the nooks and crannies along my jawline, which doesn't take very long at all. There we go, I'm already finished. I'm just getting rid of the residue there. So now I'm going to be using the Boots 17 Define and Conquer Contour Kit, which is a lovely little kit. It feels very user-friendly and beginner-friendly. So the instructions it gives you are to block out the areas that are ones to shade and ones to highlight. It gives you a little bit of paper with the directions of where to do this. So I've done my forehead. I'm just doing my sort of cheekbone side face areas. I'm checking there that they are even, which is that they come, I think, a little bit past my nose, but they don't come too near my mouth, which can look a little strange. And then I'm just doing a little on my jawline. It does look quite strange to sort of block out the areas first, but it does make it a lot more obvious that you've got the right area done. I'm trying out a little here on my nose. I think I was actually possibly too subtle in the nose area. I'm just putting a little on my chin. Just cleaning off the... Oh yes, this is the Duo eyeshadow brush. Should I get another Wilkinson's one, which is again very nice for the money. So I'm just using the highlighting colour here. Unfortunately, as I think you can see pretty much right away, the highlighting colour does basically nothing for me. It's nowhere near light enough to really stand out against my quite pale skin. And unfortunately, the kit that I got is the lightest shade in shade Fair. There's only 2 shades available, Fair and a medium, I think it's called, which is one of the downsides of the Boots 17 line, because it's a bit more budget friendly if you're just wanting to try things out, but the colour range is a bit more limited. So while the contouring here will have some effect, the highlighting has basically done nothing for me. So here I am just brushing out the blocked in contoured areas, which again the powder brush works really well for, because it's very dense and very soft. So I'm just brushing it out and brushing it out. And I actually think in the end I made the contouring quite subtle, which I suppose is a good thing for a very nude look, to go with the nude foundation and the very minimal nude makeup that I ended up doing. But I do suspect, because it was quite a nice powdery quite a nice light finish and a little powdery but not too much, that you could very easily build it up and do sort of more extreme contouring, or just keep it quite subtle, which is quite nice. I'm finishing up here on the nose, which, like I said, I don't think I did enough of to really make a difference anyway. And I'm brushing out sort of where I've highlighted, not that it made much of a difference. Oh, the little palette also came with a lovely big mirror in it. So it was actually a very nice and expensive palette for contouring. So the next thing I'm going to be doing here is my eyeshadow, and this is using the MUA eyeshadow palette Heaven and Earth, which I have used more since recording this video, and I'm actually very happy with. The look I'm going to do here ends up being actually quite a nude look. I use 3 or 4 of these shades that are the lighter shades that are all quite close to each other in colour, to do a very subtle look and to do a little bit of shaping sort of on the outside of the eye where it's darkened just a little. But you can also do much more dramatic shaded looks. Overall, I was very happy with how the palette worked, especially, like I've said in the first impressions video, for the money that you pay for it, only being £4. It was very easy to apply. They were very easy to blend from one shade to the other, and the palettes do come with a great range of colours to sort of suit lots of different needs. So I'm just filling this in again with the, I think it's called the Smoky Eye Duo pencil or something like that. You have a sort of a stiff flat end and then a poofy, powdery, but still quite firm end to do all of your applying the colour and shading the colour and putting it on in sections. I think here I'm just finishing up with the lighter colour to highlight my upper brow bone. So it sort of is mostly a very light, very shimmery nude look, because the whole eyeshadow palette is a bit shimmery, but only a little. I don't think it's too bad. You can see there I'm showing off the colours that I've used. So I stuck very much to the left side of the palette, where they have all the very neutral and nude tones. So I'm just moving on here to not a new item, but just one of the items that I tend to use, which is the Boots 17 Dolled Up Mascara. It's a very inexpensive non-waterproof black mascara, but I actually really like it, and I really like the shape of the applicator. It works very well with the shape of the eyelashes that I have, because my eyelashes are actually very fine, but they are actually pretty long and they naturally curl, which is quite nice. So I don't have to use an eyelash curler, and I don't have to use a waterproof mascara to make the curl set. So I like being able to use inexpensive mascaras. And I'm going in here again with another product that isn't new, but it's just to finish off the makeup look, which is the Model Co More Brows Brow Gel, which I also have really liked because it is very much like a mascara but for your eyebrows, where you're not filling in the skin and colouring in the skin underneath your eyebrows with a pencil to make them look darker. You're thickening and lengthening and darkening the actual hairs. So while the effect is still sort of more than what you have, it's more natural looking. It's more about creating a natural makeup, no makeup look, I suppose. And I really like the finish. It also stays on really well. So I was also just shaping it there with just an eyeliner pencil. So I'm back here to the new items. This is the Rimmel Moisture Renew Clear Transparent Universal Lip Liner. I might have got the exact name of that wrong, which was very interesting to use. It sort of feels and looks a bit like it goes on white, but not really. It is actually transparent. What it actually makes me think of is like a very, very solid white, almost a lip balm type texture. So it's sort of defining and coating the area of your lips to prep it, but isn't adding any colour. You can see there I do get a little annoyed because I actually dropped the pencil and it just snapped the very thin end that comes out of those twister style lip liners. So I don't actually think I'll buy it again. So here I am moving quickly onto lip products, and I decide to use the Barry M Genie lipstick. Here I am applying it, which is the one that is green and goes on a pH reactive shade of pink. I was actually quite surprised by the shade of pink that I got here, because when I tried it on in the shop just on bare skin and then a bit on the lips, it wasn't this pink. So I don't know what's made it react to make it much pinker, whether it was what I prepped my lips with or just the foundation, but it's actually quite a nice shade. You can say it does react a little actually on the stick end, so I do think you have to clean that off to make it so that the next application is clean. But it is very interesting. While it might seem like something that's quite gimmicky, the lipstick actually lasted quite well. It almost felt like it stained the lips a little. So here I am finishing it up, just checking the finish, which, like I've said, is quite natural, quite nude, with just the pop of pink lips. And there we go. I'll see you again next time.